Hey guys, it's Fadra from allthingsfadra.com, and I want to talk to you for a second about a Dr. Seuss book. It's called Old Hat, New Hat, and it goes like this. Old hat, new hat, brown hat, blue hat. Well, we're going to play a similar game. This game is going to be old car, new car, brown car, red car. That's right. Today I have a Mazda CX-5. On this side, you'll see my personal vehicle. I own a 2016 and a half Mazda CX-5, and on this side, you will see the brand new 2018 Mazda CX-5. Is there really much of a difference? Well, I'm here to show you and show myself. We're going to see what it's like for both of them. I'm going to take this vehicle and spend a week driving up to Pennsylvania and back and getting to know it inside and out. And then we'll really do a fair comparison of the differences between the old and the new. Let the comparison begin. So for those of you that don't know, I actually spent a week in the Mazda CX-5 a couple years ago when I was doing a review, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I loved it so much that I went out and bought it. Well, now that it's a few years later, I'm wondering, should I trade up? Should I trade in? And I will tell you at the end of this video how I feel about the brand new Mazda CX-5. Let's start by looking at the dash of the new vehicle. You can see the steering wheel's been redesigned. Same general idea, but the buttons have been redesigned as well. In the older model, the dash is a little flatter. In this one, it's a little more shaped. They've moved the display screen from within the dash to above the dash, and they've also redesigned everything that you'll see here, from the vents to the ignition to all of the options to the compartments down here. I thought I really wanted a screen up above the dash, and now I find that I like it, but it's not a must-have for me. Other big differences that I noticed: we've got the heated seats here, but we also have a heated steering wheel. That's a really nice advantage that I used this week. What's changed down in the console is that you have more of a cavity here, and you'll find that the 12-volt outlet is now under here as opposed to in the console, which is great if you use that to charge your phone. I've actually redesigned this command console, so it's the same general idea, but the spacing is a little bit different, and I've lost my little slot where I usually put my phone. I think it's because they want you to rest it in that cavern there. And then you'll see that instead of having vertical cup holders, we now have horizontal cup holders. Now this redesign comes at a bit of an expense, and that expense is the space within the console. So you'll see, even if I take my paperwork out, it's much smaller inside. So if you're looking for a lot of space here, you won't necessarily find it, but that is where you still have an additional 12-volt port and the USB ports as well. You might not notice it, but the seats are very different as well. So it's still the parchment leather, it's still the perforated design, but they're definitely much softer seats. Now that sounds like it would be a good thing, but I found for the long trips that I did in this vehicle, it didn't quite offer as much firmness and support that I like on my seats when I drive, although it does have a good lumbar support and it does allow you to move the seat in many different positions. In the back seat, there's not a lot that has changed, but there is one significant improvement, and one that I maybe wouldn't have noticed, but my son noticed right away. There are now rear vents back here. Why they never put them in older models, I have no idea, but it makes it much more enjoyable for the passengers in the back seat. Then in the very back, you'll see about the same amount of cargo space. The only difference now is this optional cargo cover that you can get, and the power lift gate, which is a very nice addition. Other than what I've shown you on the inside, most of the changes are cosmetic on the outside, and that's where it really comes down to personal preference. Let me show you some of the changes that really stand out to me. Old rear, new rear, old rims, new rims, old grille, new grille, old profile, new profile, old dash and console, new dash and console, old seats, new seats, old rear, new rear, Old cargo space. New cargo space. Okay, we're back inside the 2018 Mazda CX-5 because I want to give you my final thoughts on this. There are a lot of differences between the two vehicles. I find most of them to be cosmetic. It's a completely redesigned exterior and it's a totally revamped interior. The seats are different, the dash is different, but that doesn't affect the driving experience much for me. When it comes to those sorts of things, I actually prefer my 2016 and a half Mazda CX-5. I'm very comfortable with the vehicle. I like the way I fit. I like where everything is situated in the car. So believe it or not, although this one is a little bit more modern, I'm still happy with mine. Now, I do like the exterior look of this one better, but the biggest difference for me, the 2018 has the G vectoring control. That is the stabilizing force that keeps you from leaning into a turn. It helps stabilize the vehicle. And I definitely noticed that on this trip. I really wish I had that on my vehicle. And so I guess what it comes down to is what's your preference? If you're looking at new versus used, I would say for the price, go for new. You're going to get something under warranty, and the new ones are about the same price as what I paid for mine 2 years ago. If you already have a Mazda CX-5 and you're not sure if you should trade up yet or not, it's definitely worth a test drive, but it may not be your preference, like it's not my preference. So what I showed you was the 2018 Mazda CX-5 Grand Touring all-wheel drive, just like what I own. It's in Soul Red Crystal Metallic, which is Mazda's signature color, and the interior is parchment. The MSRP for this vehicle as outfitted is $34,685. I think it's a bargain for a compact SUV. If this vehicle doesn't suit you, there's an entire Mazda family of great vehicles. I encourage you to go check them out, give them a test drive, and see what you think. Until then, be sure to like and subscribe, give me your feedback, tell me what you want to see reviewed next, and I'll be sure to at least try to bring it to you. Thanks, guys.